Hi, Genevieve Jacobs from Region Media with this week's news update from a field of sunflowers. Now, Enlighten has just begun here in Canberra, but you might be wondering, what is that enormous tent in front of Old Parliament House? It's Gogh Alive, so it's coinciding with the Great Festival of Light in the City, but going on quite a lot longer than that, and this is an immersive daytime and nighttime experience. Andrew Kay is with me. He's the producer of Gogh Alive, which is touring here. It's been in a couple of other cities as well, where it's been an enormous success. Andrew, we're all familiar with the story of the impassioned painter, his love of light, the drenching colours of the south of France. Tell me what this exhibition's all about.
Well, it's a digital exhibition. We call it an experience because it's an immersive experience. You know, there's 30 different projectors and you walk in and you can see Van Gogh's artwork 11 metres high. You can stand and see the actual brushworks. It's all over you. It's on the floor. It's a total immersive experience. And of course, on top of that, we're in this grand pavilion, not a tent or a marquee, but a pavilion, the world's largest relocatable building, which we've stuck right on top of the centenary fountains. And so it's in the most extraordinary location. So you can't miss it.
You've had an amazing response to this elsewhere. I'm told that in the Starlight Room, 5 proposals?
Yes, the Starry Night Room. We've had 5 proposals so far, and then we have champagne. And come and propose, because we'll give you a bottle of champagne or a glass of champagne, as long as you're over age. It's great fun.
That might be quite tempting just as the restrictions end, if people are feeling they want to get a bit frisky and do something really, really special. Now, one of the features of this, as you say, is that you can see Van Gogh's wonderful paintwork. And he was an artist who was largely ignored during his lifetime, forgotten for decades afterwards. People thought he was a sort of a mad genius, and his sister-in-law Johanna did an enormous amount of work in restoring his reputation. People love the pulsing life of this art, don't they? They really connect to it.
He is the rock star of visual artists because in his lifetime he never sold a painting except for one, which he did as a contra deal. And so through Van Gogh Alive you see from the start of his career through to the end of his life, through his artwork and his writings, because he was a prolific writer of letters to his sister-in-law and brother. And so you see his words at the same time as you're seeing the artwork that he's painting. And it's so moving. People leave Van Gogh Alive in tears because you've really understood more about the man.
But often if you were to see these great masterworks of 19th century France, you'd see them in remote museum situations, places where there's a hush. You know, you've got to go in and sort of queue and be very respectful and be very quiet. But the point about this, bring the kids. This is one for everyone, isn't it?
Oh, it's a total family experience. So yes, you bring, because the children adore it, because the paintings are on the floor as well. You can never beat standing in front of an old master in a formal gallery, but this is a totally different experience. And it's not, you know, you go and see the Mona Lisa and you're lucky to see it because there's 30 people standing in front of you. You can stand right and look at these artworks on a massive scale.
Look, there's a frenzy of activity going on. We've got people flat out working at the sunflowers just in front of us here. Now, the whole show opens this weekend. And you're open all day as well as at night for Enlighten?
Absolutely, and there's a whole series of immersive rooms. We've got a cafe here. You can come and have a coffee. You can have food. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 10 o'clock at night.
Absolutely fantastic. And all the great scenes from Van Gogh's legendary iconic artworks are here. His bedroom, you have the Starry Night Room, and that really passionate sense of a man who lived entirely for his art, whose art consumed his life, and his passion for his surroundings, for the vibrancy of what he could create, just infused everything he did. It's a spectacular experience.
We're only here for 5 weeks too.
Yeah, 5 weeks, so get in. Also making news on the website. We've been talking, of course, about the tragic events unfolding in Ukraine and talking to the local Canberra Ukrainian community about their despair. Some very strong photographs that members of the Ukraine community have shared with us from their families who are in the midst of the invasion of the country and the protests that are going on outside the Russian embassy. We've learned that the other protesters who've been in Canberra over the summer period are costing the ACT taxpayer around $2 million, and that's in police overtime to control that extraordinary situation that unfolded around Parliament and many of the national institutions and down at Epic. If you've been aware of the development around Jerrabomba and all the housing that's taking place there, you might not know about Environa. Environa was a planned suburb a century ago, and the relics are still standing in paddocks. Quite eerie, quite mysterious. James Coleman has the story of Environa, and we're also talking about great news for fans of the old bus depot markets. They are back. That's been greeted with wild enthusiasm. All that and more is on the Riot Act. We have a daily digest that pops into your inbox, or you can sign up for our weekly newsletter every Thursday and join in our great big Canberra conversation and perhaps immerse yourself in the sunflowers. Andrew, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I'm Genevieve Jacobs. This is Region Media.